Welcome to a delicious episode of All About PR. Why do I call this delicious? Because we will talk about food and take a dive into the food blogging community. In this episode, we speak to seasoned food bloggers Vidya Lakshmi and Suchitra Chari on how their world has changed, keeping in mind the ongoing pandemic and the lockdown, sometimes which is mandatory and sometimes self-imposed. We will talk to them about how their world has changed, morphed, and evolved to continue customer engagement and brand associations. Food bloggers and influencers form an essential part of our PR campaigns for food and hospitality brands today. And the new normal has changed the terms of association for the PR community with bloggers. Listen to this episode to understand how they have changed and spark ideas on how you as a PR professional can adapt to make it work for your clients. A little bit about our guests before we add them on. Our first guest is Vidya Lakshmi. She's an award-winning food blogger based out of Bangalore. She's also one of the first ones to have started in the sector and is well loved by everyone in the community. You can be assured you will leave with more knowledge about food and the industry with every conversation you have with her, and maybe a sweet dish if you are lucky to meet her in person. One of the most respected bloggers in the community, she calls food edible love. And don't we all agree? And showcases different delicious recipes on her very popular YouTube channel. Our second guest is Suchitra Chari, who hails from the food haven Mumbai. Her passion for food led her to start blogging about it. Her cooking skills are easily rivaled by her food reviews. Her mad food styling and photography skills make her a foodie favorite in the blogging world. You can see the gorgeous pictures on her Instagram page.
Hi, Suchitra.
Hi.
And we have Vidya also with us. Hi, Vidya.
Hi.
Great. So how has the lockdown been for you guys? We've been seeing a lot of posts, and I think one of the biggest cribs of all the people around has been that all you foodie bloggers are conspiring to make us gain weight. Yeah. So how has it, jokes apart, how has it been for you guys?
For me, it's like very overwhelming. I've started cooking more and more and exploring more of my traditional dishes which were made at my place. My grandmother used to make, or their grandparents. So trying to source all those recipes from my relatives.
Interesting. So it's seen a revival of sorts of your traditional recipe. Yeah. So what has been your favorite recipe so far?
So far, there's no one recipe. There are so many, but to be specific, there is something that we called Vetta Koyambu, which is a type of sambar, which we make in the south, which is made without dal. So there are quite a few ingredients we put in it, like turkey berry and black nightshade berries. So, I never really knew about all these things, but I think after getting into cooking in the kitchen, I learned so much more about these ingredients especially.
It's interesting to see that, before the lockdown, we were not really so keen on cooking. I think the lockdown has forced all of us to kind of understand our traditional recipes and start experimenting with it.
Yeah.
Vidya, so tell us, we have a first question for you, Vidya. How has the current scenario changed the life of a food blogger?
So for me, it has been the same, but the only constraint was I couldn't go out and shop often or to procure many things. But it has been the same because I'm constant on food blogging and on the video streaming. So that has kept me edit things and do a lot of backlog work, which I had already kept in different files. So using those files, I kept editing and uploading. So I'm very regular in posting, so this was not posing much of an issue for me as a food blogger. So I do everything in advance, so it was like I was prepared for this. I was prepared for this situation. So I didn't have to wait for certain things to go out for shopping, or though I had a limited choice for shopping, but I already had videos and recipes done, curated, and it was set for me to edit and upload it. So it didn't pose much of an issue for me as a blogger.
Okay, so you've also been doing, earlier you used to do a lot of food walks. You curated a lot of experiences for people, food experiences. So I'm
Yes,
sure
yes.
that has taken a hit as of now, right?
Yes, that's completely stopped at the moment because we're not allowed to go to certain areas. There are a lot of confinement zones, and we are not supposed to move around. So that is completely stopped at the moment, which we will eventually start over the once the pandemic is coming to an end. So
Right.
hopefully that will start.
All fingers crossed on that. So
Yes.
how have you been keeping yourself busy, or rather making sure that your audience is engaged? Because that was a big part of what you did earlier.
So keeping the audience engaged, see, like the audience always wants something, which is viral and going to be viral. It's going to be very viral, and they have to do something with that. Like this dalgona coffee during the lockdown, I guess everybody in India, or be they didn't have to do anything. They just had to watch a video and do a dalgona coffee, and sort of rave about it on it. That made me happy in a sense, like people are associating more with bloggers, and they're trying to create something and do many things without wasting their time or getting into some drama or doing getting into fake news. They are trying to actually innovate something in their kitchen. I sort of wanted these people to associate with me, so that's what I searched for, and that's something I curate. I just have a market search and market research on my own, and I see
Right.
what exactly these people are up to, and I have already curated this, so I started uploading, and to my luck, many people started to watch, and they started to prepare. Even the actors also, they started connecting with me, and they said, okay, this is something I want to curate, I want to do something at home. So seen my Facebook page, and I kept posting like a lot of tags from my Instagram and Facebook, like many people trying out my recipes. So like the military
Right.
hotel recipe, for instance, it became very viral during the lockdown. So they could not access any military hotels. The military hotel biryani became a viral hit, and it was a popular thing among even actors. So they started sending me a lot of videos, and so that
Not
was
just your Pani Puri post. I think your Pani Puri post also became very, very
yes,
popular.
yes, 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 yes. Pani Puri, and currently now the post lockdown videos are going to come. So now everybody is looking for healthy recipes. So hopefully I'm going to be posting healthy recipes soon.
Then I'm going to
Zero,
definitely take a look at your channel. So
zero
Suchitra,
calories.
then I'm going to take a watch, and after those pani puris, I'm going to start looking at your zero calorie posts as well. We have an interesting question for you. How are you planning brand collaborations at this point? Because I believe a large portion of, let's say, associations also led to certain amount of revenue for bloggers as well. Now, during the pandemic, as what we hear, that this has come to pretty much a standstill. So, are there brands still approaching you? Are these collaborations still happening?
Yeah, to some extent, definitely there are certain brands approaching in terms of the free no contact delivery option,
Right.
something like that.
Hmm.
And also these brands that promote sanitizers and multiple such things that connect you more to about the lockdown and the pandemic, something of that sort. Yes, but then I am not really getting into that as such, because our area being a little confinement zone, we're not able to source so many things, and many things are not allowed to be delivered at at our building. So therefore, I'm not involving myself in these brand engagements at the moment.
What about you, Vidya? Are brand collaborations still something that you are keen on taking up?
Yes, I did do two brand collaborations during the lockdown itself. So that helped me increase my revenue more in terms of viewing, and it also helped me to understand what exactly people are trying to look into, because brand collaborations are very important during lockdown. it might be little difficult to get your products delivered, or to somebody to deliver certain things, but brand collaboration is something that people wanted to see during the lockdown. So for me, when
Interesting.
I sort of did, I received the waffle maker somewhere in March, I guess. So when the lockdown happened, that is when I sort of happened to curate more recipes using the waffle maker. So many people were interested looking at how the waffle maker works and how exactly things go into making a chocolate waffle, or how exactly it comes out at home. So brand collaborations for me was extremely helpful during the lockdown. I did collaborate with 2, 3 brands during the lockdown.
Interesting. It also seems that a lot of the food bloggers are baking at this point.
Yes.
Suchitra, there's a question for you. You mentioned that food deliveries are something that people are approaching you right now for collaborations and to review, I assume. So, as a food blogger, when a restaurant approaches you, do you also do a hygiene check before you promote it?
Of course, it's a
Yeah.
must. Yeah, I mean, you need to check the place, how from where it is arriving, and all these things make a big difference, right? Because we have to be
Hmm.
careful at this point of time during this whole pandemic issue.
Right. How do you manage to do that?
As I said, I have not really ordered anything at home. I'm cooking myself, and that's the best thing out of it all because I've cooked so many recipes. Over, I think, 40, 50 dishes I must have posted in this 4 months. I never used to post recipes. I always used to post only the content. I used to go out to a restaurant. So this
Right.
has been a change for me, like recording these recipes on the mobile and editing it all and learning how to add music to it and so many other things, small bits. I have learned a lot, I feel, in this whole lockdown due to this. I
So,
that's
apart from cooking, what is the one digital skill that you have picked up during this lockdown that has proved really valuable for you?
Meditation. I meditate every single day, and because there's so much fear, no, in today's world. Everybody is so scared about getting infected by the COVID-19. I feel
Right.
that meditation has really helped me calm myself more down and made me more relaxed and less anxious.
But what is the digital skill that you have picked up?
Digital skill as such is cooking. I don't think anything else of that sort. Yeah.
Okay, so meditation it is for you. Vidya, which channel has been performing best for you? When you've been posting all these different recipes, which channel has performed best for you? Blog, YouTube, Insta, or Facebook?
All 3, or everything, I
Any of
should say.
them.
Yes.
There is nothing which has performed better than the rest of them.
I cannot in measure YouTube gains more traffic, but Instagram and Facebook has also played a major role in during this pandemic. Now it is slowing down because people are trying to get back to their work zones, and they're trying to focus more on their work. But all the platforms have worked equally good for me during this pandemic, and I have received good amount of views and good amount of traction during this pandemic.
Right. So, Vidya, what has been your most creative dish apart from Dalgona coffee?
I have not done any dalgona coffee for that.
Okay.
I'll put it straight up.
Dish.
I'm not a person who's going to try something viral video from the viral video. Yes, but I'm going to improvise it, and I will do some. I'll do a true dalgona coffee sometime soon. But the thing is, what has inspired me to create more is when people are searching for healthy recipes. So recently, I tried a recipe using quinoa. So quinoa is something that I have never worked with, or I have not used that millet at all. So quinoa is something that I try to curate more recipes using quinoa and puffed rice and pani puris, for example. I've tried to bake them instead of deep frying them, and bake them inside the microwave and do all sorts of things. That is going to come up soon. So yeah,
Good.
healthy eating is my
I will definitely look out for that one. So, Chitra, this one is for you. Did you have more visitors or likes during lockdown compared to pre-COVID?
Yeah, a lot actually. So many people messaging, requesting, asking for more recipe videos. It's the likes are pouring in too much. At times I feel how many
Right.
recipes can I make?
Which is very nice. Which is very nice. So, another interesting question, which I think both of you can take. Content creation has gained importance for bloggers in the absence of actually going out and taking a pretty picture. Now everybody has to really introspect and figure out what is the content that they can kind of create. So, any tips for content creation from home for budding bloggers?
Firstly we should connect with the audience what they would like to buy from us. Like what do they really like, and part by part learn different skills. Like say in this lockdown I learned some photography angles which I never really looked into. So I feel that even photos people really connect to a lot than even the recipe. They look at the photo and they find it even more appetizing, right? So I
Agreed.
think that content should be in terms of not just what you're posting, in terms of not just the video or not just the photo, but also how you're describing it and the way you are presenting it in terms of your words.
Right.
Yeah.
So, any top apps that you recommend, for photo editing?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend Snapseed, which is very, very essential, and Lightroom by E02. Yeah. I use
Interesting.
those two applications. They're very, very, very reliable. Of course, you have to learn a little more in terms of how to edit it, but it is worth.
Yeah.
But for
Interesting.
me, it has been Pixlr and the Photor, which is very user friendly for a beginner
Right.
who doesn't know much about photography or to do many things. They can use Pixlr or Photor to edit and sort of do things on their camera mobile itself. So that is very useful
Brilliant.
in terms of photography.
I'm sure our viewers will find that very, very, useful. Another question which I think should be addressed by both of you. Many bloggers have abandoned their pages as of now or just put a pause on it. A word of advice for them.
I'm so that's not the way to keep your viewers or visitors waiting for your feed. It's a very bad practice in when you're in social media, and especially when you have gone so many viewers or followers. You have to, it's your commitment to post something what you're doing exactly, and to keep them informed that you're doing well. Otherwise
Hmm.
people sort of vary, and it gives you more of fake news. They sort of circulate more fake news about you around the social media circle. So it's always
Right.
very important to keep your viewers informed well in advance what you're doing, what exactly you're doing. It can be your daily chores, it can be anything, but keep them
Hmm.
informed. If it's not food related, it's okay, but you can at least showcase that you've cleaned your hall, done something with your house, you know. So you can just
Something.
show something about what you're doing, but don't keep a blank space, is my advice.
So, Chitra, your views on this?
I apparently had been through this phase where I felt that, what will I do now? Because at the beginning of the lockdown, I didn't have any content with me, right? Because I used to only go out to restaurants moreover rather than cooking indoors. So
Right.
yeah, but I feel that engaging with the audience is very, very primary. It is a must. And if you will abandon your page, then see you have put so much effort to grow your content and grow your
Right.
audience. So why let it go and flow down like that? So I feel engagement. Let it be the smallest thing, just like as Vidya said. Like just
Mhm.
post what you're cooking at home, just a basic chai also. No problem at all.
No problem. Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly.
But
people.
keep them engaged.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
keep the space more engaged. That's it.
yeah. So many
Rather
people are
than
looking forward to your post, right? So why
Hmm.
disappoint them?
yeah.
Understand. Even if it's like you said, a nice cup of chai, a nice cup of
Yes,
coffee,
yes,
that
yes,
also
yes.
works on that. Yeah. So, just another question for you: which aesthetics are of primary importance for content creation?
See, I have not really thought of it, but I have started using small basic things, basic ingredients, whatever I use in my food. I try to use those as aesthetics in my photography. Something very simple, but I feel mainly you should always understand lighting, because many times we fail as in our post is moreover because of the light, because the food doesn't get the proper light, and that's why it doesn't look that appealing, right? So these are the primary things we have to look into: the food, the lighting, the angle, and whatever, even if it is a basic dish, if you need to look at all these points.
No, that's an interesting point, Suchitra, because food styling, I believe, is as key as what you create. Because end of the day, the food has to look appetizing. And while we all love social media and all of this is on social media, while we engage all the rest of the senses, taste is something we can't engage. So the rest of the senses become even more important. That's a very good tip. Vidya, would you want to add to that and help our viewers understand? Let's say the top things they keep in mind when styling food.
See, I'm not a person who styles food, but I go for, yeah, I just cook the good, sort of an appealing, you should appeal the audience. That's all I'm looking at, and to present the food in a basic and in a good manner. But the food styling, the props come later, because that really doesn't matter for me. As far I'm looking at the basic, food itself, how appealing it can be, and how I can, make the other person on the flip side to cook that particular dish what I have prepared. So I have to make sure, that these people try my recipe and they just don't come and watch my photos and just have a glance at it and just move on. But they should be interested in what I'm doing. I try to keep it basic, very normal. So that is something I look at.
So, what's the motivation that keeps you going?
Motivation, yeah, motivation, many things, I'm motivated towards always creating good content. So I'm
Right.
motivated all the time. I'm, whenever I talk to my mother, she keeps me motivated. She keeps me telling that do this, do this. So my mother
Wow.
has been my
Your mother-
backbone, so she has been motivating me a lot to create content and do more things on, for the online space.
Because I believe, when you are a blogger, you are like a mini company in yourself, right?
Yes, yes,
You have to keep motivating your own self to make sure that
yes, yes, yes,
things
yes,
keep generating. There is no external motivation. There is a complete internal motivation, huge
yes.
amount of it.
That's true.
External
That's
motivation
true.
comes in later with your viewers. So, Suchitra, what keeps you motivated to keep posting?
Motivated, my parents for sure, my father, because he appreciates whatever I make, he eats without complaining, and of course my friends, cause they have always been supportive, and they've always been like, we always try all your recipes, and it's so nice, to hear that like your friends are doing that. And of course,
Very
they
nice.
have self-invited themselves after lockdown for a meal also.
I'm sure there'll be a long line for it. So, what is the memorable food, the one memorable food you have tasted, and you have, wanting to try it out at home, and you've tried it out probably at home.
Many things for me.
One.
So that's a very tricky and difficult question for me. But one memorable thing that I really enjoy when I go out and eat is a good bisi bele bath. So you cannot get a good bisi bele bath. Yeah, home cooking is there. Mom puts in a lot of effort and love, and she does it. It tastes excellent. But you try good bisibele bath at a good restaurant, and you want to recreate that same effect at home, which is not possible because it's done on coals and all of that, and we are staying in this apartment. We cannot happen to, we cannot afford to have a coal stove and to cook all that. So yeah, I've been missing a lot of good food like that, and I'm trying to recreate it and give that sort of sense for people who are there on lockdown.
So, Suchitra, have you recreated any of the ones that you miss right now?
I haven't recreated it yet, but I am planning on. Hummus has been my favorite dish. Everywhere I visit, always one portion of hummus has to be there on the table. So I am planning to recreate some different variants, maybe something with beetroot or some other flavored ones. Let's see. But yeah, I definitely want to, make it for sure. And I definitely tried dal makhni at home. I never, being a South Indian, we never eat all that much. But I love Punjabi food. So dal makhni I made at home, I was so satisfied.
Brilliant. There is an interesting Rajma recipe that Vidya has just put up. You might want to.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay, here's an interesting one. So I think, this had been happening before the lockdown as well. And I think during the lockdown also, food bloggers have been plagued with plagiarism by different media houses, different brands, etc. So while before the pandemic, there was one cry that was created and, there was something physical that could have been done. Is this something still that is bothering you in the industry, and how are you guys dealing with it?
I personally add a watermark in such a place where nobody can really copy my image. It's very tricky because I see a lot of these food stylists and fellow food bloggers, they have this issue. So many people, they start making new page and then they copy your content and then they post it as their own, and it's really hard to catch hold of these people.
Right.
But then there should be something that can be done about this whole thing, because it's
For
very
me, it is not for me, it's not the photo part, or it's not just, grabbing the, but my original content itself is, redone, and with a lot of effort, certain things goes into create good recipe. So
Right.
if you take military hotel biryani, mine will be the first one to pop up. Somewhere in 2007 or 2010 is something that I created this recipe when nobody did it. But then, converting that same recipe and doing it in giving their own name to it, and changing the recipe completely with few ingredients here and there, and doing some, ups and downs in here, that sort of irritated me a bit during the beginning. But then ultimately people started to try that and try mine, so they ultimately came back to me. So now I don't worry much about people copying my content, because the originality is there in my content and I'm very confident about it. So I don't have
Correct.
to worry about being I don't feel that somebody's stealing my content all the time. I just let it go, because the originality is mine and it will remain mine. So I'm very strong about it, and I don't bother nowadays about, and I just don't care about this copying
But
my
it's nice.
content and recreating it.
That's really mature of you to let that go in that manner. But I think it's polite blogger etiquette to give credit where it is due.
It's true.
I recreate any one of your recipes, I would always say that, inspired by Suchitra or inspired by Vidya Lakshmi's post, or thank you for sharing that recipe. I created it. This is my version. Take a look. I think it just creates positivity. It just creates more engagement where that is concerned.
You're right.
That's true.
Okay, so we are running out of time. So one last question. What is the one thing or the first thing that you will taste once the lockdown is open?
For me, it's masala dosa, MTR masala dosa.
MTR masala dosa.
Yes, I have to go to MTR, and I'll wait a long queue. I don't mind about it. I can wait for 3 hours, but I have to have my masala dosa.
Okay, Suchitra, what about you?
For me, it would be any dessert at Beirut, because I have been craving for desserts, and as you know, I don't bake any dishes, so I am craving for all those yummy cakes.
Done. That is, I'm sure those desserts will be well worth the wait. So great. Thank you so much for taking out the time
Thank you.
today with all of us. Yeah, and we will continue to watch your recipes. We'll continue to admire all the pictures. Hopefully, we should start getting 0-calorie recipes soon, and more healthier versions of it. And great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you.
Bye.
So that was Vidya Lakshmi and Suchitra Chari speaking to us about changes in the blogging world, engagement, and brand associations. We do hope you found their nuggets of wisdom relevant and hope that they help you create the right PR opportunities for the brands you work with. So that's all from us at All About PR for this episode. Catch us next week for another interesting PR conversation.